Hey there, I got a story I'd like to unfold for you about this fella from Oklahoma. Goes by the name of Boren, Dan Boren. At least that was the handle his loving parents gave him. He lives out in Oklahoma, which means red people, and he's seen his share of Oklahoma, usually with a rifle or shotgun in his hand. Well, this story I'm about to unfold for you is about Dan Boren, a true man of life, Oklahoma. His story began a little over 30 years ago, and in that short of a time, well, Dan Boren's proven he's not a lazy person. He's proved that real good. Now here in Oklahoma, there are certain things we know. We know that the sun rises hard each morning over these hills and the moon hangs fat in the sky come harvest time. We know the difference between a cowboy and an outlaw, and we know that there's nothing prettier than an oil derrick reaching up into the sky. We know why there's an American flag hanging in the barbershop window and why the rifle is the best accessory ever made for a truck. We're pretty good judges of horse flesh and beef cattle, and most of us could size up a man by shaking his hand and looking him in the eye. We've had a little time to size up this fellow Dan Boren, and here's what some folks have to say about him for your viewing pleasure.
I've known Dan and his family for a long time. The apple didn't fall very far from the tree. The values that are important in small towns, faith, family, hard work, personal responsibility, those are the values that Dan Boren carries with him every day he's served in the United States Congress.
I am amazed at what Dan has done in the short years of his arrival onto the scene in public service. While Dan represents a 2nd district, he is still the person in the U.S. Capitol that so many of us, Democrats from all across the state, turn to.
Well, Dan and I first became acquainted before our elections. We were both elected to the State House in 2002, and after that we became roommates for that legislative session. When you're roommates with somebody, you get to know them pretty well, and Dan has that quality and that character. He's just a down-to-earth fellow. Dan's the kind of person that can go to Washington, D.C. and sit down with dignitaries, but he's also comfortable going to a coffee shop, sitting down with a fellow in overalls, and he can speak the language of all Americans and all citizens. So that's a rare quality in an elected official.
He's his own man. He stands for what he stands for, what's in the best interest of his district. And what I particularly like about Dan is his ability to forge coalitions across political lines to get things done.
I was impressed with Dan's compassion. He truly understood the compassion necessary, I think, to serve as a leader not only for Oklahoma but in Washington, D.C. He had a unique ability to understand the issues that affected the voters of his district and the constituents that he works for. Right. Besides that, he ran some really squirrely bills. He'll know. He'll get the inside joke.
In 2002, when young Dan Boren was elected to the Oklahoma House of Representatives, I had an opportunity to work with him closely in 2 specific areas that I think helped begin to shape the leadership that we see from him today. We worked together a lot on fundraising opportunities and trying to figure out what direction we wanted to be able to take the Oklahoma House Democrats. I grew to have a great appreciation for Dan, both as a friend, as a public servant, and as a leader. But I never will forget his legislation, and he will forever be known as the Squirrel Tail Man.
Dan's got a great passion for outdoors. He's told stories about going out hunting, but he loves getting out in the wilderness and just kicking back and enjoying the outdoors. He's got a great passion for hunting. He's one of the real outdoorsmen in Congress and can communicate that message to the elected officials.
I think Dan Boren's service in the Oklahoma legislature prepared him to be a really strong congressman. You know, he has common sense values and knows how to reach across the political aisle to get things done for the people of Oklahoma, which he clearly has done. But you know, I've got to admit at a time like this that he's actually kind of been on my bad list for quite a while. You know, 8 or 9 years ago, when Dan became old enough to be eligible for service in the state Senate, we talked to him about running for the state Senate. We knew he was a guy that was destined to do some good things for the people of Oklahoma, and we wanted him in the state Senate. We had a great conversation on a couple of occasions about it, had a nice dinner, and he just told us no. So he went and ran for the House instead. And I just want Dan to know that his friends in the state Senate have never ever forgiven him for that. You know, we're actually proud of his success. We wish we had had him in the state Senate, but as I said before, we knew he was destined for great things. He's gone to Congress, done a tremendous job, works with people of all walks of life, represents a district that is very diverse and that is a good reflection of what Oklahoma values are all about. And Dan Boren exemplifies those values. And Dan, we appreciate the job that you do, and we hope you do it for many, many years to come.
When Dan first decided to run for Congress, he asked me to be his campaign chairman, and I proudly joined him on the campaign trail because I believe in Dan. To watch a young man like Dan Boren grow and become a leader has been a real pleasure for me. And the issues that come before Congress have always been very complex, but today they're even more. People are hurting, especially in rural communities, and I'm proud to have Dan Boren there representing us. Dan has the common touch. He understands what families and small businesses need and want, and he's getting that job done.
As treasurer, it's my job to protect state funds, and I take that job very seriously. I'm proud to have Congressman Boren protecting our tax dollars in D.C. and working to bring those funds back to Oklahoma. We need more young leaders like Congressman Boren who are willing to stand up and do what is right for Oklahoma's families.
Congressman Boren has a background in education, and it shows in his dedication to improve education in Oklahoma. I think it has been very helpful for him to serve in the Oklahoma State Legislature and in the U.S. Congress. He has an understanding of the challenges that we face in public education, and he's in a unique position to make a difference for students, teachers, and administrators through his work in the United States Congress.
As governor of Oklahoma, it's always been a pleasure and an honor to work with Congressman Dan Boren. Like me, Dan loves public service. He understands there is no greater calling than serving the people and making a positive difference in their lives. Dan is also a family man, and he knows the importance of Oklahoma values. As a dedicated husband and father, he is committed to building a better state and a better country for the next generation. As the son and grandson of celebrated public servants, Dan knew he would have big shoes to fill when he began his political career. But in just a short time, he's impressed both supporters and skeptics, and that's no easy task. Dan is doing a great job for the people of Oklahoma, and I'm sure the best is yet to come.
Well, I don't know about you, but I take comfort in knowing that Dan Boren is on the job. It's good knowing that he's out there taking it easy and getting things done for Oklahoma. It's good to know there's another generation of Borens on the hook. I guess that's the way this whole darn comedy keeps perpetuating itself, downward through the generations, westward the wagons across the sands of time. Ah, look at me, I'm rambling. Well, I sure hope, folks, you enjoyed yourselves. See you next year.